Good morning. Welcome to the presentation of the Library Corporation TechLogic in Rochester City School District. Thank you for spending the time and coming to join us this morning. I'm going to provide just a really brief introduction of the Library Corporation and my colleague TechLogic, or Tom Loy from TechLogic, and then introduce and allow the real presenters, Colleen and Melissa from Rochester, to take over. But I wanted to start today briefly to kind of explain the Library Corporation for those who aren't aware. TLC was founded in 1974. We entered the school market in 1999, and we provide library management systems for about 5,500 locations in North America, including Canada and Hawaii. We mentioned some of the larger districts here, but I wanted to recognize Rochester, who is co-presenting with us today, as though all of these districts are pursuing RFID in one form or fashion or the other. Rochester is certainly the tip of the spear and progressively charging into the RFID world, and interested to hear their presentation today. As I indicated, we entered the school market in 1999 primarily because of technology. The Library Corporation was the first vendor in the world to have a library management system that operated on Windows servers. If anyone remembers NT boxes, we were the first vendor in the world to have a system natively designed for that. And we formalized that business unit in 2002 and have operated since with a business unit for K-12. We acquired TechLogic in 2005, recognizing both RFID emerging technologies in K-12 and the benefit of automating the school library space. Moving forward, we've had a lot of product innovations over those 20 years since we entered the market, but a couple to call out of recent is our award for our Oracle-based cloud services. Our LMS system is deployed in Oracle Cloud infrastructure, offering a really secure, hardened environment for your data. We also leverage IBM Cognos for analytics and business intelligence reporting as part of our LMS, so it provides reporting capabilities at the library level as well as the principal and administration level, giving those signals that administrators and decision makers in the district can use for collection, development, analysis, and budgeting, and so forth. And most recently, our LMS platform won the Platinum Award this year, Library Data Solution for Schools, as a Platinum Award winner, LMS for school districts. So one thing that I wanted to really tease out before I pass over to the speakers is what TLC can provide in TechLogic with RFID in school libraries. We offer something very unique in that we provide a unified vendor solution. I'm going to use my informal parlance here. It's one throat to choke. When you have hardware and software and the integration of those two platforms together with a single vendor, we provide one vendor accountability between TLC and our sister company TechLogic, not only from a kind of formalized business process, but us also as colleagues. I wanted to introduce Tom Loy, who's going to introduce our Rochester partners. Tom and I go way back. Tom hired me in 2000 as a sales development specialist, and we've known each other since that time. Tom then went over to TechLogic in 2005 when we acquired that company, and he's been there since. So not only do we have formalized business units that provide unified client services, implementation, and service, there is a long tenure of collaboration between employees of our two companies, and I think that brings it to the forefront in what TLC and TechLogic can provide to school libraries with RFID. And so with that, Tom, the floor is yours.
Thanks, John. My part's really easy and fast. I'm going to turn this over to Colleen and Melissa, who's really doing all the hard work in this project. One thing I would like to reiterate that John said, this unified platform is really, really important for the school market. These large school districts can come to us that are looking to do a large RFID project, and they know that they can rely on really a leadership platform that's the same and has been since 1974. So I've worked for TLC since 1988. So I've got a lot of experience in both the ILS side as well as the RFID side. So why are these libraries converting to RFID? Why is Rochester moving this way? It's very simple. When you convert from barcode to RFID, your inventory processing looks like this. Instead of scanning barcode after barcode after barcode after barcode after barcode, you simply wand the shelf. The end product, the goal here is to get to this place where inventory is done fast, easy, accurately. You can add on the additional pieces like student self-checkout. There's a security component that's integrated into this technology. It makes running a school library a lot more efficient and a lot easier for staff. And with that said, we have all of this equipment set up in our booth right over there, catty-corner to this. And I'll turn this over to Colleen and Melissa. And one last thing before I do that, I just want to thank both of you all for this presentation. All the work you've done so far to get started, tagging your collection is a big deal and a lot of work, and I understand that. But putting this presentation together is fantastic. So thank you both. And if you have any questions, we'll be here after this presentation. Just ask. So thanks, Colleen.
Thank you. Hey, thank you. So my name is Dr. Colleen Sadowski, and I am the director of the Rochester, New York City School Library System, and very excited to talk to you today about our venture into RFID with TechLogic and TLC. Did you want to introduce yourself now?
Hi, I'm Dr. Melissa Frost. I'm the lead librarian for the Rochester City School District, and I'm also very excited. I've been wanting to do RFID for years now, so this is just awesome to be able to be saying that we are starting, and we have about halfway finished with our project.
This was definitely Melissa's dream come true, let me tell you. So what we're going to talk to you about today, why we decided to RFID, the selection process that we used, especially the importance of your team as you are looking to doing this and making sure you have the right people in line as you start to research, explore, and then implement. I'm going to talk a little bit about purchasing because that is also a big issue in a lot of districts, and then implementation and what our experience has been so far. So our goals with RFID, we are a high need, very, very high poverty urban district in Rochester, New York. We are one of the big 5 city school districts, and what comes with that is a lot of people looking at us that have been assigned to us to pick through every single process and procedure that we do, which includes all the way from inventory of textbooks to library books. How are we spending? What are we spending it on? What are our processes to inventory that and to be fiscally accountable? So as you know, we've had multiple state monitors over the years, and I think we're on our second right now, but the longest lasting one. And one thing that has been consistent through all of them is inventory, and whether it's inventory of textbooks or even musical instruments, we have been cited by both state monitors as not doing that great of a job at it. So one of the things that we're hoping to do with RFID is to, you'll see in the one picture there, we're going to tag all of our musical instruments. We're getting special hang tags to go on the cases, and then the RFID tag will go right on that little, it's like a hard plastic luggage tag is what it looks like. That center picture is what one of our libraries looks like at the end of the school year when all of the teachers dump all of the stuff from their rooms in the library. You don't know what's what. And the ability to be able to do inventory with a wand was just something that was so appealing to us and was really time-saving, which equals money. Because we don't have a lot of entry-level clerks in our district. In libraries, we only have certified library media specialists, so they are all certified teachers. And certified teachers get paid a lot more than minimum wage. And when you look at the cost analysis of the work that's being done to complete inventory and the people that are doing it, the salary doesn't really match the work. So that was one of our goals too, is to be a little more fiscally responsible there. The picture to the right of center is one of our libraries, and the ability to be able to go from spending a full week to inventory one of our larger libraries to inventory that in 3 hours, and the cost savings there is incredible. And you've now got a certified teacher that can continue to see students and can continue to teach, as opposed to spending time doing clerical work, basically. And then that last one, you know, Stella Luella's runaway book. We all know that there's those runaway books. The ability, and we haven't really told a lot of our teachers this, but the ability to be able to go into a classroom and walk around with a wand and say, oh, there's a library book on that shelf there. So that's going to be great. Instead of having to beg and plead to get those books returned to the library, we can now just walk in and take care of it ourselves.
So as part of this project, it does take a lot of people on deck. So our automation system is TLC, Library Solutions, and TechLogic, as you heard earlier, is one of the part of the company. So having that connection made it a lot easier for us to take and go to RFID, because it is much more timely. Traditionally, RFID, you're just going around collecting the barcodes off the RFID tags, and then you got to do a lot of work to connect it. They make that connection seamless. So that was really nice. So our school library system, here's a great picture of all of our librarians during the initial training for TLC. And then of course our city school district with our IT department. So all of those people need to be working together, because you have the software side, you have the staffing side, and of course your automation side. So once those are all integrated, it really flows nice. There were some concerns, you know, we weren't sure everybody would be buying in. We were both very excited about this, but we weren't sure about our librarians. But then we started hearing, you know, I'm looking forward, no trigger finger. If any librarians are in the audience, you know, after you scan 10,000 books, your fingers don't bend anymore. Carpal tunnel, less knee problems, you know, you're not doing that repetitive crawling along the floor trying to scan every book, especially if you're in an elementary school. You know how low those shelves are and how long it takes. So instead of spending 2 weeks trying to do your inventory, we are able to tell our librarians, you know, put these tags on our books and code them, and next time you do inventory, 30 minutes of walking around with your wand, and then a couple hours of analyzing the data. You also have less work with shelf management during the year. You're missing a book in your collection. You don't know where that second grader put it on the shelf. You can go and do a quick scan, and it will find it for you. Interlibrary loan. We can take and put a list of our interlibrary loan books, and we can walk around and find them on our shelves. It will come up on the tablet or laptop that you're using, that book is sitting there on the shelf. So having all these partners working together between our tech department, our automation system, the RFID system, and our great librarians, it is just really flowing nicely. So, but it is important to get your tech department on board as soon as possible, because they're the ones who have to do the magic to get the software loaded on your devices and make sure, you know, your IP addresses are working, your links are working, so you have access to everything.
Okay, one of the biggest parts that you would really need to focus on is whatever your district purchasing policies are. Know before you go into this what you have to have in line. You might need a request for proposals to put out. You might need to put these out for bid if you're going to, you know, it really depends, and every district is different. So you've got proposals, you have bids. See if you're part of a purchasing consortium. We fortunately were part of a purchasing consortium, so we did not have to do either proposal or bid because of that, because our consortium was already approved by New York State. Our participation in the consortium was approved by our Board of Education, so it was a simpler process for us, but it might not be that easy for anybody else. In addition to purchasing policies, know things like getting a sole source letter. You'll be able to get a sole source letter from here, so that is not an issue. You can check that off. Other things that you might need to know: who needs to be involved in the purchasing? Who do you have to convince that this is something that you need and why it's a good thing and worth your investment? They are a certified women-owned business, so if you're using grant funding, that's important to be able to tell your finance department, because a lot of times companies are looking, or not companies, districts are looking to spend grant money, but they have that criteria. It has to be an MWBE business. So that is something also to take into consideration. I would talk to your purchasing department ahead of time. Talk to your grant department ahead of time if you have a grant department, and just have all of that ready to go as you're starting to explore. And definitely once you've targeted, get your quotes, trial what you're looking to try out, and then move on from there. Did I miss anything?
Yeah, I think that's it.
All right.
So this was a pretty exciting day when our antennas and wands arrived. When you go over to the Technologic booth, you'll also see what's in those boxes. We essentially are doing 500,000 items that we are RFID tagging. So we had enough of the antenna encoders for every library in our district, but we're sharing wands. The wands are a bit more pricier, and it's not really something as a school level that you really need one per site. So if you're looking to save some money, you could share it among a few different libraries. The training part for the librarian training, we actually did it in half a day. And the reason it took us half a day was actually because we decided to do some hands-on. And the actual training to how to encode a tag usually takes about 10 minutes, because it takes 5 minutes to open the box and plug in the device. And then after 5 minutes, people are like, that's it. So right now we have a lot of librarians who are having volunteers, people coming in from different organizations, community members, putting the RFID tags on the books for them, and then the librarian is later on going on and encoding. Most of them make it about 2 to 3 hours before the eyes start crossing, because it's not the most engaging thing to do, but they're all really looking forward to the benefits when it's done, whether it's self-checkout stations, quick inventory, all kinds of possibilities we got upcoming. Here is a picture at the end of our teams in action. During our training, we actually sent high school librarians to a high school, elementary librarians to a elementary school. So this is our high school, looking down from the second floor. We found that when you are encoding, teams of 2 work good, because then you have someone to talk to, and so you don't get as bored as quick. Also, 2, when you're encoding, put the tag in the book, put it on a machine, and you're done. And then you just repeat that a few, 10,000 times, and you are good. But once it's done, it's done. And again, it's something as easy to do that any high schoolers, we got community service partners, high schoolers doing the community service hours, volunteers, a couple husbands and wives have come in, college students that are off for winter break came in. So the actual tagging is not bad. You can do a couple hundred an hour pretty easy. We have some librarians who are taking a bit more time because they're weeding as they go through. So depending on your librarians, and you all know your librarians, some will take the book, open it up, set it aside to do a lesson plan with it later. Others might decide to read the book because it's just too old. Others just go right through and get a few hundred done an hour. So, but it's really, really great. But as to the actual tagging and doing the work to set it up, once your IT department and TechLogic has done the magic for the librarian and product, very simple, very quick, very easy. And we did find when we were looking, teams of 2 worked the best, teams of 1. Teams of 3 kind of started getting in each other's way, and the book started getting a little disorganized. So we really found, 1 person, 2 people at a time, really efficient.
Okay, so like Melissa mentioned, we did split our group into two, one elementary, one secondary. We do have a picture from the secondary school that we went at, and this was after 3 hours of tagging. That's all the leftover tape strips, and that is on, you can't really tell what it is in here. We had a video of it, but the video, you couldn't hear the sound or anything. And that is, if you're familiar with Grandin Road, that's the Grandin Road Halloween witch holding a library book. She was like the library witch, and she basically yells at you for your overdue books and turns around. But we promise that is not what you're going to turn into if you do this after 3 hours. You will end up with that tape though. And one of our librarians did find a creative use for the core rolls. She's using them with her Odyssey of the Mind kids at school, and they're using them for projects. So does anybody have any questions? Yes.
So I guess first, congratulations. That's a pretty remarkable what you've accomplished in your district. The one question I'm interested in is how has your circulation increased since you brought in the self-checkout kiosk? Are you finding that's impacting?
We're still in the process of IDing. We have three of our sites done, and we expect to have the majority of done by the end of February. We do expect self-checkouts and just circulation in general to increase because we're going to be more accurate in finding our books. So typically what happens, you know, a book gets lost on the shelf somewhere because someone didn't put it back where it belongs. You got 10,000 books for the library to find that one book in a timely fashion while that student's standing there waiting between classes. Doesn't happen. But by increasing the lack of books we have lost, I guess you could say, in our collections, we're going to be more timely in being able to give our books to our students. So they're going to become more, I think, used to coming in and we have what they need, and that way we'll increase our circulation statistics. And also, too, with circulation, teacher comes in, scan their badge, put 5 books at a time on the pad, all 5 gets checked out, well, we're still teaching our class. So they won't have to wait till lunchtime or all lunchtime or break time to try to catch us in the library to borrow books. They can just check them out. And you can check out a stack. So you're not limited to checking out 1 book at a time. You can put a whole stack on there and done and gone.
Also what we're doing as part of our facilities modernization programs, I have gotten quotes for some additional equipment that we weren't able to afford in our first round because of the grant funding that we had for it. And as we modernize different libraries, I'm hoping to put in different self-checkout kiosks and the what do you call it? Gates. That's the word I'm looking for. The gates at the doors.
One other point on circulation, RFID allows you to do some non-traditional shelf locations. So in addition to the traditional library space, it also allows you to use book kiosks. We call them mini libraries. They hold 150 items that can be placed in the cafeteria and school common areas. They're self-service book dispensers that are leveraging the RFID technology for the check-in and check-out process.
Hand over here.
So just kind of more of a clear, just a confirmation, I guess. So with this, you put the RFID tag in there and you scan the ISBN number to add the book, and then you don't need any other stickers or anything, or how do you do it?
It's actually, we're encoding the barcode because we're transferring barcodes to So yeah, we're encoding the barcode onto that tag you have, so that rectangular tag you have on your flyer. So all we're doing is the barcode, nothing else. We're not doing the title like they do in some public libraries or anything. Just the barcode is all we're encoding. But then eventually, in the future, I know some public libraries have also gone away from barcodes and are just using a number on there, an item number. But because we're transitioning, we're not going to do away with our barcodes at this time. We don't put a second barcode in our books anymore because we have it encoded on the tag. So it does save a little bit that way.
And all the new books. So this is only the process for our existing collections. All new books that we order are coming in already tagged. So we don't have to do this again, this whole encoding process again.
So all the library vendors, the majority of your book vendors sell RFID tags already encoded as part of your processing, sometimes with a slight additional fee. So it's a one-time. The only books you'll have in the future after you do your collection will be any donations you get, you know, your local history books that come in that you might not be able to get from a vendor, your book fair books. But again, it's 10 seconds of your time to do that. Once you get the main collection done, going forward, you know, it's very quick.
Inventory. So it was being able to do the inventory quickly was the biggest thing, because our state monitor had highlighted that as of vital importance to the state to get all that straightened out, because we have millions of dollars invested in textbooks. We have over 1 million textbooks. We are not RFIDing textbooks yet. That might be something we'll do in the future. But just for right now, with our library collections and the musical instruments also, because there was no inventory of musical instruments before, and instruments are extremely expensive. So before anybody takes off, I just want to make sure you have these cards, and you can go right over to the booth, over there, 3316, right? 3316, just right past the pole. And you can see the RFID in action, and then you can get some goodies while you're over there. And we'll also be over there if you have more questions. Thank you.